Good evening. Welcome to Cocktails and Conversation. I am your host, Alexis, with one cocktail at a time. And tonight, as promised, I'm going to be making the twisted cocktail from the Clean Cocktail Cookbook, which I meant to bring out to show you, but left it inside. I'm out here in my Cocktails and Conversation couch lounge area here this evening. So let me get started on the cocktail, and then I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how I've been feeling lately. If you have any questions about One Cocktail Time, feel free to chime in, and I will be posting this video onto our Facebook later as well with information about the cookbook. Okay, so let's get started. To make the twisted cocktail, which is a version of the old-fashioned, you first need to add a orange peel and about a 1/4 ounce of sugar. The recipe calls for coconut sugar. I find coconut sugar to be a little bitter, but I did make the vanilla syrup with it. So here I'm using demerara sugar. And then just to give it a little more sweetness than it calls for. And then you're going to put a few dashes of orange bitters in here. I did not make my own orange bitters. I would like to try starting to make some bitters though soon, so stay tuned for that. So we're going to give this a good tamping down in here, get it good and muddled. And I did make these last night for my girlfriends who came over. I had about 4 friends over, so we were well socially distanced out here on my deck, and they were a big hit, so probably too much of a hit. So we got that tamped down. We're going to add just about a 1/4 teaspoon of water in there to help sort of get the sugar dissolved. So we're going to dissolve that sugar a little bit in here. And now we've got a good little orange sugary mixture in there. We are going to start adding the bourbon. Start with the bourbon. I'm going to put 2 ounces of bourbon in here. You know I like to measure because I like a well-balanced cocktail. So here we go with 2 ounces of bourbon. And then the next is the vanilla syrup, which I made yesterday. Like I said, it's made with coconut sugar, 1 part coconut sugar to water, and then you steep it with a vanilla bean. So I'd had this vanilla bean waiting to make the syrup for quite some time, so it's kind of exciting. And even though, what I did learn is that even though the coconut sugar really smells like a really bitter molasses almost, it's a lot sweeter on the taste. So I'm going to put a half ounce, oops, almost lost a half ounce of the syrup in here. It does really give the cocktail a nice little hint of vanilla. Vanilla bean wanted to come out of the jar. Okay, and then I'm going to stir that together a little bit, just to get a little warm up before I add some ice. Add 5 or 6 cubes of ice, and you know that I like to stir my cocktails for 30 or 40 times, so you gotta be patient here with me. So it's got this nice rich color from the syrup. It's a little darker than usual, and that is looking about right. And now I'm going to put some garnishing with a wedge of orange. Put some ice in my glass, and I can strain this into my glass. And here we have the twisted, which is a twist on an old-fashioned. Everybody has different old-fashions, right, and different preferences. But this one is really good. A little orange, a little vanilla. It's light and refreshing at the same time because of that orange. So it's a good, like, hot summer day cocktail, I think. Yeah, that turned out good. So cheers to never being the only one in the room. Speaking of which, I've really been grieving a lot lately for the things that we've lost, and I don't want to feel bad for myself because I'm definitely sitting in a place of privilege on many levels. But it's just been hard. Like I invited my friends over last night because they're just feeling so disconnected from people outside of my family. It's been a really great time for me and my husband, and for us in a way, because we feel like we've been able to connect with the kids again, who are teenagers. But it's been tough, and I think it's been tougher on the kids for the things that all the summer programs that they missed out on. My daughter was supposed to be away most of the summer dancing, and my son was supposed to go to a soccer development program that he'd gotten accepted to, and all the college tryout camps and things like that. So he's moving into senior year. So I think it's just been hard losing those things. And then you go out into the public, in the grocery stores and markets, and people aren't heeding safety precautions. And it just makes it even more difficult, because that means we're going to be doing this even longer. So I'm just grieving for our lives to be, not to be back to normal, I don't want to say that, but just for the loss that we've suffered. And obviously positive things are coming out of this time, as far as innovation and Black Lives Matter movement actually taking foothold amongst a majority of the population, which is a lot better than it was before, which was always very disconcerting. So there's been some positive things that have come out of our whole COVID and lock-in and shutdown. The frustrations have also brought us thinking about problem solving in different ways. And I think, our schools will start to think differently about how they educate kids, how they assess children, which that's very exciting to me as a former teacher and a student advocate. So in any case, I urge you to reach out to friends if you're also feeling disconnected and grieving, and just start talking about the things that you miss, and how you might find new ways to connect and get through together. And please wear your masks. Thank you. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you soon, to never being the only one in the room. Have a good night.